Hello everyone, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be episode number 13 of Beginner's Java. That's about all that voice I can do. So today we're going to be talking about arrays. Alright, shush. So we're going to be talking about arrays. And so first things first is arrays. What are they? And honestly, I'm glad you asked, because the answer is it's when we need to hold more, than one of a specific type of variable. That's all it is. So let's say, for example, I wanted to output all the numbers in or let's do it this way. I want to let a user choose 10 numbers. Let's knock that down to 3, because I'm going to have to test this a few times in front of you guys. But you can change it to 10 very easily if you want. Let a user specify 3 numbers of their choosing, and then add them all together, right? So that's not very hard. And in theory, we could do something like that very easily, just by going int A equals 0, comma B equals 0, C equals 0, right? We could do that. And then just do A plus B plus C. But what if I told you, instead of adding them all together, we're going to multiply them together from last to first? And then, it gets a little more complicated. But then, what would be to happen if we were to have a file with 100,000 numbers or 1,000,000 numbers? You can't just create letters for all of them. And so the answer is arrays. Again, I'm going to change this to 3, but it could be 1,000,000, it could be 100,000,000. As a matter of fact, at work today there was an issue because somebody tried to create a data set with over 2 billion objects in it. So it can really be any number. So let's begin by saying, by showing you how to declare an array. So we're going to say int, and then square brackets like that. And we're going to say myArray equals new int 3. So let's talk about what this means. So when we say int, you know that we're going to be dealing with integers, right? When we put these square brackets in, that means we're going to be using an array of integers. It means that there's going to be more than one of them. And we need to specify how many. So myArray is just the name. So new is a way of sort of building, it specifies the size of the object, or, well, new in this case is specifying that we're creating and instantiating a new object. And we'll get into object instantiation probably in about 3 lessons, so hang on for that. And then where I say 3, that means that I'm going to be holding 3 objects, or 3 integers in this case, in this array. So what I can do is I can just go and I can manually specify each one. Again, you can, if you want to go through the hassle, you can do scanner scan equals new scanner system.in and do that whole thing. You guys already know how to do that, so I'm not going to bore you by implementing it for this. But if I just go myArray of 0 equals 1, then just copy paste this. So this is 1 and 2 I'll just change that to 5 and 10. The way I can do this, and this is pretty cool. So I said that I want to multiply them together from 10 down to 5 to 1. Actually, let's change this to 2 just so it's different. Yeah, it's actually not going to be different. So let's say we divide by the third number, right? So let's add like 2 or 3 more numbers just because. So we'll say 5. Okay, and so we'll say 15, 20. Then we just change this to 3 and 4. And so remember a few videos back, before I go any further, I said that most things are 0 indexed in Java. So that means that your first position in this array, and the way my teacher drew it is something like this. When I was first learning, she said, you know, you have a box and it looks something like this. 2, 3, 4, 5. And once you fill in the array, as we have now, it looks something like this, right? So 2, 5, 10, 15, 20, right? But meanwhile, the way that that actually looks, you know, positionally is like this. 1, 2, 3, and I'll actually align these so, because we use 2-digit numbers up there. So, and that's going to be 4. So that's kind of how this works out, right? So we're like position 0 is going to have the value of 2. So let's do like this. Values, and this is going to be position. So once we kind of get that set up, all of a sudden we go, okay, position 0 is the value of 2. And so we can see that in the way it's declared below. So let's just make a quick for loop. We'll do for int I equals my array dot length. I is greater than 1 because I said that I wanted to divide by 2 at the end, right? I is greater than 1, I minus minus, right? So let's just create another int, and we'll call it multiple, or product. And then we can say, so product equals, actually I should make it equal to 1 just to start. So product equal, or multiplies equals, so I don't have to do 2. And we'll just do my array of I. And that's how you'll often hear it referred to, is you'll say my array, which is the name, and then you'll say of, and then this letter in here, so we can actually just change it to 0, and it will get what's in the 0 spot. If I change it to I, it will iterate through. But this, you know, notation is called random access, and this I in the middle is the subscript of what we're calling. So I'll actually note that here. Random access of array. Checks the Alright, great. So carrying on, if we actually run this just as it stands right now, we'll do system.out.println. And off the top of my head, I actually don't know what the answer is supposed to be right yet, because I'm busy coding it right now. So when we run this, we'll see that we get, take your time. Oh, okay. So I went ahead and, yes. So one of the more beautiful things about coding is sometimes you'll make a mistake like this, where you start with a this idea in your mind where you go, oh yeah, I'm going to you know, declare a variable, and then you don't think about how something works. So let's just set a quick breakpoint there and debug and come down here. And I believe that we'll be able to see in my array, it actually doesn't show us that off the bat, but what it will show us is when we do this, I is actually equal to 5, because my array.length is equal to 5, because it has 5 values in it. The problem is that it starts at 4. So we actually started with I being 1 greater than it should be. So that means that we need to start with myArray.length minus 1, and we should probably change this to greater than 0. And when we do that, right, we end up with 15,000, which, I don't know, let's see. Drag that over here. 20 times 15 times 10 times 5. Yeah, looks good. And so then, like I said, I wanted to make sure that we divided by this first number, right? So the way to do that then is just to say product divided by equals my array of 0. And so then, when we run this, we have 7,500, which is exactly what we'd expect. Now, if you want, you can let a user put whatever they want in here. You know, you can set up a scanner and throw that inside of one for loop, and then, you know, create another for loop like this and do whatever calculations you want on their input. And so, as I'm sure you guys can figure out, this is pretty powerful stuff. We're going to go into a bit more of this in the next lesson, but I know that I've already rambled on for 13 minutes. So for now, I'm going to wrap it up here, but I'm going to post this online with the assumption that you guys still have a lot of questions. I do suggest you play around with this, and I do suggest that you familiarize yourself with this style of notation. Alright, well, if you guys have any questions, post them below. Feel free to like, subscribe, share with friends. Peace out.